Alright, at least the Wolves had positives to take back to the crib, because there was a level of aggression from top to bottom, and it was as simple as them being more decisive on the catch. They were just quicker at attacking closeouts, so whenever they got downhill, they were either finishing at the rim or recycling the rock on a spray for an even better look from deep, and in the first half alone, they had just as many paint points as all of Game 1. A lot of it did stem from Ant setting the tone early, because it was obvious he was looking to attack any openings the Thunder gave him, and that mindset was the key difference to his performance. The Thunder are having their bigs up on his screens, then having him drop, and I assume the reason for that is because they wanted to deter him from getting downhill, so in Game 1, he was accepting it by either getting off the rock or pulling that first look from deep, but in this game, he just took that space to get to his spots non-stop. He was getting to the rim, splitting two, and even just him pulling in the mid-range shows he's not looking to settle at all, but the most impressive part of his night was him not committing any turnovers, because that's not easy to do considering how aggressive he was. The only issue on the night is I can't say the same for the others, because once again, whenever any of them were in traffic, trying to make a spray, or wasn't aware of their blind side, they either lost the rock or got it picked off, and a lot of it was coming from them trying to find Randle in the post. That was an area the Wolves wanted to use more for him, or Nas, but more times than not, they kept overthrowing the pass whenever he got fronted, or the Thunder's weak side rotations were too quick, so he couldn't catch the rock to exploit his size advantage, and that's without even mentioning all the putbacks he smoked throughout the night. He had a rough start, then had an even rougher third, so Finch decided to bench him the entire fourth, and surprisingly, that was their best quarter, especially after Rudy went off, because their small ball with Nas at the 5 was able to match the Thunder better. I wouldn't be surprised to see that lineup more in Game 3, but I still think their focus should be on exploiting that weak side corner, because as seen throughout, the Thunder are still pulling over early on those low rotations, still sinking in to cover the dunker, still tagging rollers, still rolling off the paint, or even shifting high to load up top, and even though Jaden made a couple trades early in the game, they just didn't make enough. The deep ball is a category they can win, because I don't even think the Thunder have found theirs, but more importantly, they need to start matching the Thunder's physicality defensively for the full 48, and that's arguably hurting them more than the missed shots. Shea and Dub were exploiting Rudy's drop in that two-man game with Zay, so whenever one of them got to their spots, it was a bucket, spray, or drop off, but even without a screen, it was no different, because they let Shea get baseline too often, and it was just as easy for the others to get downhill. Their first and second line were inconsistent, so the Thunder were getting easy looks inside or generating a good look outside off their paint touches. But what made their defense look even worse was the Thunder exploiting that zone, because that was the Thunder's kryptonite the entire Nuggets series, and when they tried to go to it, Caruso broke it through the middle every time. They just had no solution for what the Thunder were doing in either coverage, so it eventually caught up to them in the third, and their last-ditch effort was to sell on Shea from that point onward. But this loss really showed why they need to emphasize that end of the floor just as much as the Thunder, because a lot of the Thunder's pace or runouts are stemming off their stops. When shots don't fall, they rely on their defense to generate their offense, and the Wolves have the personnel to do that, so they've got to adopt that same mindset sooner than later. Just watch the tape.
Puts it up and in on the follow. Multiple efforts from Jalen Williams.